People get shocked when I say this. Never save money. These words didn't come from a book. They came from my grandfather. And this is the story behind them. In a quiet farming village, there lived an old man everyone had given up on. They called him lazy, not because he slept all day, but because he talked more than he worked. Every afternoon, he sat under a wide tree on a broken chair, staring into the distance. "One day," he would say, "I'll open a shop. One day, I'll buy land and cows. One day, money will come without pain." That one day never arrived. At first, people laughed. Later, they stopped laughing. They only looked at him with quiet pity. His wife would sigh and say, "Dreams don't feed people, work does." He'd shrug and reply softly, "Someday I'll figure it out." But someday kept running away. Years passed. Life became tighter, harder. One night his grandson, thin, barefoot, pulled at his sleeve and whispered, "Grandpa, is there bread?" The grandmother opened the cupboard. Empty. The old man lowered his eyes. His chest felt heavy. Dreams could not be eaten. Plans could not silence hunger. That night, sleep never came. The next morning, with shame burning inside, he went to the fields as a daily laborer. The work was merciless. The sun crushed his skin. His back bent lower each day. His hands cracked and bled. Sweat blurred his eyes as he whispered, "This feels like a chain." Every night he returned silent and exhausted. Dinner was always the same: a few beans, 2 tortillas, nothing more. One evening at the village store, he heard men talking. "The secret is saving," one said loudly. "If you save, you are safe." Those words stayed with him. That night, he found an old glass jar and hid it beneath the bed. Each week, after buying only the bare minimum, he dropped a few coins inside. Clink. That sound felt like hope. Months later, the jar was heavy. One day, the boy found the jar. "What's this, Grandpa?" The old man smiled proudly. "Our future." But saving came with a price. No new shoes, less food, smaller portions. Plates were never full. One night the grandmother finally spoke. "What good is money if we stay hungry?" He didn't lift his head. "One day you'll understand." Months later, the jar was heavy. At the market, he placed the money on the table. "I want 3 sacks of corn." The seller counted and shook his head. Prices went up. "This buys 1 sack and half." The old man froze. "Money loses value," the seller said simply. On the walk home, the jar felt heavier than ever. That night, he poured the coins on the table and counted them again and again. They never grew. The boy asked quietly, "Then what's the point of saving, Grandpa?" For the first time, the old man had no answer. Dark days followed. Hunger stayed. Strength faded. One morning, sitting on the porch, he watched neighbors walk by. One carried eggs, another carried milk. They walked calmly, without fear. Then he remembered something the boy once said. "What if we buy chickens?" This time he listened. He used the last of the money to buy a few thin chickens. When he released them into the yard, the boy laughed and ran after them. "Our egg factory!" he shouted. At first they found 1 egg, then 2. They ate some, they sold some. With the money, they bought another chicken. The old man wrote everything in a small notebook. Every egg mattered. Soon the yard was full of life and noise. Neighbors came to buy eggs. For the first time, work felt meaningful. One afternoon, the old man held an egg and said to the boy, This is worth more than a jar of money. It feeds us, it grows, it doesn't disappear." The boy hugged him tightly. "So you're not lazy anymore?" The old man smiled, eyes wet. "No, my child, I finally learned." The jar stayed forgotten under the bed. When people spoke about saving money, the old man pointed to the chickens and said, "Saving money is like holding water in your hands. It always slips away. Make it work, even if you start small." And that is why my grandfather said, "Never save money. Make it grow."